So I go on a morning walk and I pull out my iPhone and I pull up the memo tool on it and I just start talking. And so my content writer, she's actually a stay-at-home mom up in Baltimore, Maryland, and I just say, blog topic, why my wife loves my virtual assistant, which is actually one that I did the other day.
That's awesome.
And I'll just start talking, right, for 3 to 5 minutes, and I'll talk about how, because my VA will like send her, at the beginning of the week, like my schedule and where I'm going to be if I'm not going to be home for dinner, and she does like family vacation planning for us and research, and we're on vacation, she's checking my email and managing things so I can be engaged with the family. So that's another morning routine now. So I just get up, I talk for 3 to 5 minutes, I hit send, I email it to my content writer, I copy my virtual assistant on it, she reviews it, turns all of my blubber, talking into a written, blog post, organizes it on Google Docs, sends it for me to take a quick look at. My VA reviews it, and then has it posted and tagged on my website within 48 hours.
How much, I'm just curious from that perspective, 3 to 5 minutes of your time, obviously you're sending the email and there's a little bit of coordination, but what's that investment for one blog post on your end? Just from a practical standpoint as entrepreneurs, I'm just curious.
Literally 5 to 7 minutes, because especially when you start working with a content writer that gets a feel for your voice and your tone, right? And so I've been working with her for a number of years, and we help people when we're working with them on sourcing outsourced writers, and and it's $20 to $25 is what she charges me to do it, and so we do a lot of keyword research prior. So we do keyword research in our industry and what people are searching for. So she has that bank of keywords, and so whenever she is doing the writing, she finds a way to kind of stuff those keywords in every 300 to 500 words, which is typically, Google's always changing its algorithm, but so aside from just the thinking process, so on my notes app on my phone is kind of where I keep all my blog topics that pop in my head. I'm driving or whatever, I'll just do Siri and say hey, whatever topic, and I just use that to go down that menu in the morning. It's like, what do I want to talk about today? I'll do it, send it, and then 3 to 5 minutes, and then just a couple of minutes to take a look. And a lot of times I'm so comfortable with the content now that I don't even take a look at it because I just know she's kind of dialed in. And it's this thing I talk about, like the 85% rule with entrepreneurs, right? All of us are like A-type OCDs, agonize about every word, and so therefore one blog a month, every 6 months gets out. Versus, you know what, if stuff gets 85, 90% of the way there, and it actually gets out the door, yeah, would I agonize and change a few words or, change this pixel of blue in this brochure? Yes, but at the end of the day, it's just got to get out the door. So I try and follow that policy on all my stuff, and seems to work pretty well.
That's great. You mentioned your wife. How do you balance being a family man and a serial entrepreneur?
I'd say that's one of the grand misconceptions people have about teachers, right? So, here I am, crazy entrepreneur, tons of hours. It's just kind of the way my world is. I love the whole concept of work-life integration. There is no balance. At the end of the day, they're all just mixed together. But I went to go marry a teacher. I'm like, whew, I don't know if she's going to be able to kind of know sort of what my hours and, she's going to be kind of be okay with it. And man, especially when you are working and you're talking about a powerhouse teacher that really pours into their kids and are committed to what they do. And my wife's one of those. She's gone 13 years teaching 3rd grade. And that's right at that session when kids are transitioning. It's so important to pour into them and their self-confidence and who they are. And she still gets like Christmas letters from kids from like 7 years ago. But anyway, all that says is, man, she's up at 4:35 in the morning, grading papers, doing her thing, staying on top of what she needs to take care of. And so, honestly, I was surprised. Like, we kind of paralleled hours, so I wouldn't have to explain a lot of it. And sometimes with her, it's like, hey, she's grading papers longer than I am on Sundays, and I'm doing, work. But so anyway, having a spouse that, and also it's just having a good communication about, this is what I'm about, this is what I do, this is what we exchanged in our vows, and hopefully that appreciate about you. But I tell you one thing that, from a family ritual standpoint, and we do it in business, right, is you have meetings, right? You have consistent weekly meetings about things, right, to keep track of cadence and make sure things don't fall through the cracks. And so I actually started really implementing that with my family. So my wife and I literally every Sunday, either in the mornings or in the evenings, we have an agenda-driven, sit-down family planning meeting. It's talk about household activities, household maintenance things that need to happen, our personal lives, financial, savings, retirement, vacation, what do we have on the radar? Are we getting it planned or not? And a personal check-in. It's a chance to appreciate them for something they did for that week. When you did XYZ for me this past week and made that happen, I really appreciate it. and then just a chance to reflect on the coming week, right? Where can you support me? Where can I support you? And I'm telling you, creating that weekly release valve with a spouse works just like with work. You sit down, it's agenda-driven, and then we use an app called Wunderlist. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of, but it saves marriages, I'm pretty sure. It's this great mobile app. It's super simple that you can like share lists on an app, and it kind of updates like grocery list, right? So anytime we want to add things, it syncs together. But we have one, for each of our categories in our life about home events and planning events. And we have this thing called the parking lot that we actually use in this entrepreneurial organization I'm in. So if there's topics that we're not ready to tackle right now, we put it on the parking lot. And if we have time at the end of our meeting, we'll address the parking lot type of items. So it sounds kind of crazy to like, businessize your like family and relationship, but it's created such a cadence of consistency, and things don't fall through the cracks. We have that isolated time each week to meet.
Yeah, that's great. Sounds like a great habit to instill.
Yeah, and I feel like, communication is so important running a business, and you can see where that things break down.
Yeah.
Obviously, way more important with the relationship in a marriage, and that's a big key component you just hit on. So.
Well, just like you're passing during the week, right? And it's like, don't remember we got this appointment with the doctor on this day, or, right now we got a lot of home stuff and, renovations and things that we're doing, and 800 contractors in and out of our house, and just trying to stay on, so that's a time that we can really sync together on the schedule and what's happening, and make sure that things are like vacations, it's like, we've been meaning to make sure this gets planned, and that's something I'm really trying to focus on this coming year is every quarter, make sure we've got something to get away, and so it kind of keeps that on the radar.
So I want to shift a little bit to things from like a business standpoint. Tell us how you became an outsourcing expert.
It was, as far as outsourcing, I really learned a lot of it from growing my last business. So in building that company, we actually, so we had teeth whitening products, right? And so we actually had one of our products that is a teeth whitening pen with whitening gel on it, and ended up having a defect. We'd sold tens of thousands of these units, very successful, and all of a sudden had a defect issue, and they started leaking in women's purses and so forth. And we had a super qualified manufacturer. They do stuff for like high-end makeup lines. Long story short, it put us in a pretty tight bind. We still had to grow and make things happen financially, and I had to figure out, as any entrepreneur does, how do I rub these two pennies together and make things happen. And that's when I really learned about this world. I actually went to dinner with a buddy of mine that told me he'd just gotten this amazing website done for $300 using this site called Elance, and I just was blown away. I just spent $5,000 getting one done, and it took 3 times as long. So I started learning about this whole on-demand, low-cost virtual workforce out there. When we say outsourcing for entrepreneurs, at the end of the day, I've tried to find a better word for it, because when people, when you say outsourcing, people think, some bad customer service call in another country or contract manufacturing, but it's really the shift in work, how work gets done in this country and in this world. You can tap into these resources, people that are super talented that can do things virtually, things you would be surprised. So anyway, in building my last company, I came in to my marketing coordinator. I'm like, look, we're going to change how we do everything. And inside of about 6 months, we built a team of about 50 people all over the world that did stuff I was familiar with, right? Like web design and content writing and social media management, and then things I didn't know you could even do. Like we found this woman in Pakistan that would kind of go log in and manage all of our sales reps' LinkedIn accounts. Because LinkedIn's great, right? And everybody's sales rep needs to be doing it, but who has time to kind of go in and manage it? And things like data scraping and data mining, where we could get people to just like assemble an unbelievable list of target prospects, in a week for like 1,000 of them for like $200. Literally everything but their blood type. It's just incredible. List that you couldn't even buy, like niche targets you're going after, PR contacts. Like we would data scrape and get a list of the name and email address of every single editor in the dental industry. So anytime we sneezed, right, we had a new product, we hired somebody new, had my content writer write a little press release, and then we just shoot an email out to everybody. And I'd say 20-30% of the time, we'd get coverage and get free PR coverage. So anyway, so that's kind of how I learned to do it in building that business, and I realized entrepreneurs and business owners around me had no idea this world existed. An entrepreneurs organization, EO, that I'm in, my forum group, they had me present and share, and then word traveled, and I found myself like putting together all these PowerPoint presentations of showing case studies. And so when we exited that last business, I decided that the knowledge base and how to use it kind of made was a business on its own. So that's kind of what's evolved, and ever since then I just continued to learn and expand what I know about outsourcing and tapping into this whole on-demand virtual workforce, that's out there.